Welcome to Spotlight. I'm your host, Jane Wernette. Today I'm joined by two local nonprofits, Pointe Autism Foundation and Naperville Little League Baseball. And for the first time, Spotlight heads on location.
Today's Spotlight is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor, Busey Bank.
You're watching Spotlight, and joining me now from Pointe Autism Foundation is Carrie Provenzali. So good to see you, Carrie.
Nice to see you too, Jane.
Yeah, always great to learn more about Turning Point. And so let's talk a little bit about that, about why it was created, how it was created, and what's the mission?
Yeah, so I always like to say that Turning Point is really a love story. I mean, it was two parents here in Naperville who obviously loved their son very dearly. And when he was struggling at a very young age of 2 with some of the more challenging behaviors associated with autism, they didn't know what to do. And they got all these specialists from around the country and from Canada. So these specialists really helped their son, Jack, emerge from a really dark place. And he was able to connect with his sister and his parents again. And what I love about Kim and Randy Wolf, those are our founders, Naperville couple, is that they didn't say, well, Jack's in a good place. This is great. They said, well, what are other families doing? And I think, to me, this is where the love story gets really interesting, because they love the community enough to say we need to do something so that other children can have the experience that Jack had. And that's really how we started. And over time, I think it's evolved to meet the growing need of autism in our community and the different ages and different impact levels. But we try and stay grounded in that really core love story. We love our students. We learn from them more than we can ever teach them every day at Turning Point. And we still rely on community support. So it still remains really this important grassroots effort here in Naperville.
That's incredible. You have a couple of things that really stand out. Obviously, you've got your day school, but you also have your employment initiatives. So give us a little bit of background on those two things and why they're different than perhaps some things that are being offered other places.
So the community needs all of the programs that are right now responding to families in need that are living with a loved one with autism. But what makes Turning Point unique is that just like its founding, when all of those specialists supported Jack and developed a program unique to him, Turning Point has stayed grounded in that best practice. So one of the things that sets our programs apart is partnerships with universities, and we are studying what we're doing, and then now we're about to, in 2025, be published for some of the work that we've done so that other organizations and schools can learn what works, what doesn't work, because we are a place of learning, not just for our kids, but our team is learning. And one of the best ways to learn is what are universities pushing out as best practice in terms of the interventions that we're providing for our kiddos, because we want them to make the most progress. And you can't do that without those proven empirical studies that show what will work with Johnny or with Sarah.
Okay. Well, it's a little bit like being in a teaching hospital, right? In that way.
It's a really good analogy. Yeah, that's what we're striving to become, yes.
I love that. You had a really lovely recent milestone, 10 years for Jimmy, working at Walgreens, coming out of your employment program. What does that mean for Turning Point?
Yeah, that was so exciting because we're obviously so proud of Jimmy. And 10 years, I mean, right? In the job market now, 10 years anywhere is
a miracle.
Incredible accomplishment. But he obviously showed such grit and perseverance. And Jimmy was one of our first students to come through our employment training program. So to us, 10 years was a little bit like we're starting to grow up here.
Yeah, double digits.
Yeah, and we've learned so much since he went through in his cohort. We have a cohort right now learning job skills and placing them into employment as well. And so 10 years was a really important milestone for us. It also marks a great partnership with Walgreens, who's been an incredible employment partner with Turning Point for all of those years.
Yeah, well, it's wonderful, and I love how you say it's a partnership, because it's a win for them and a win for Jimmy and a win for you, right? And that's That's progress. That's
Yeah.
success, right? Talk about challenges, because there obviously are many. What are some of the challenges that you're facing? The world of autism, as you talked about it, the spectrum continues to expand. What are some of the challenges you're dealing with?
Yeah, so the biggest challenge for Turning Point and many organizations like us are that the number of children diagnosed now is so high, that the demand is so high, right? We need to create and evolve our programs to meet that need. And because it's a spectrum, the needs of each student that we're seeing or adult is unique. So that, I would say, is the primary challenge, is how do you grow responsibly and sustainably and continue to meet the need, because so many families are looking for quality programs in places where they know their child can go, even if their child is 26,
Yeah.
to be loved and to be part of the community and have meaningful work or recreation activities to do. So these are the programs that we're growing while maintaining the programs that we started with all those years ago.
Yeah, and I think you make a really important point that, obviously we think, often I think the conversation is around children with autism, but it's not suddenly, you don't wake up at 21 and it suddenly has disappeared. And so how are we servicing people that continue to need support and help in different ways, right, through adulthood?
Right, exactly. So our students that came to us at 7, a lot of those students were still serving at 25, 26. So we have to be able to keep those programs open for the younger kids,
Yeah.
and then evolve and grow with our older guys.
Yeah.
So.
It's a challenge. How are you shaping the conversation? I mean, there is a lot of conversation in the autism space. How is Turning Point playing a role in shaping that conversation?
Yeah, it's very exciting. Last year, we piloted for the first time our team going out to train first responders, school districts, other clinics on best practices, some of the things we've learned. And that has been a really important step, because one of our biggest challenges is still the need for, when you say autism awareness, you think we're all aware, but we're not all accepting, and we are all not really educated in how to show up for our friends and family with autism. So getting a chance to now push out into the community with what we've learned and train others, so that students in those other settings are able to get maybe a better quality experience where they're at, is a really important new thing that Turning Point has been doing over the last year.
How can people partner with Turning Point to work towards the goals and the mission of your organization?
I think just being willing to connect and learn, and there does still exist a lot of confusion around autism. So the more your viewers are willing to just maybe be brave enough to look us up or look up other similar organizations and do their due diligence, both for identifying whether someone they love might actually be living with autism and perhaps needing services, or just to interact with our organization around employment for our adults with autism. Or we have a coffee business, and we would love for people to perhaps consider switching their coffee service to ours, which employs individuals with autism.
Carrie, thank you so much for all the good work that you're doing. We wish you all the best in 2025. I know you've got big goals, big challenges ahead, and we wish you all the best.
Thanks, Jane.
Absolutely. And if you would like to learn more about Turning Point Autism Foundation, please go and visit their website. We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We're coming right back with more Spotlight.
Today's Spotlight is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor, Busey Bank.
This is the When Art Flourishes, Everyone Flourishes commitment. This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good.
What's the matter, boy? What are you trying to tell me? Is something wrong?
We live in a safe community, but not a crime-free community. If you see something, say something.
Naperville Animal Crime Stoppers.
Yes, I'd like to report a case of animal cruelty and neglect.
Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Today's Spotlight is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor, Busey Bank.
Welcome back to Spotlight. And joining me now from the Naperville Little League Baseball are Ryan and Liam Mack. Welcome to the show. So nice to have you both with us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And Ryan, okay, I'm going to start with Ryan if that's okay with you, Liam. Okay, good. Ryan, you've been in Little League for quite some time, but talk to us about what is Little League and what's new for 2025.
Sure, absolutely. So Naperville Little League, one of the largest Little Leagues in the state of Illinois. It's been around since 1952. We have baseball programs for both boys and girls between 1st and 8th grade. And there's a lot of different variety as far as the challenges for Little League, both with non-drafted, drafted, and even all-star teams all throughout the Little League. And some of the new programs that we have coming up this year is even a sandlot league for 4 and 5-year-olds. It's like a wiffle ball league type format. So
Love that.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. Now, did that come from people just asking for that? What prompted that?
It really was just trying to explore other opportunities and other avenues to get more kids, more of the community involved, and to just being involved with the Little League itself. Not necessarily competing at the highest levels of baseball per se, but just trying to get involved with their friends and the community at large.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, I've often, in talking over the years with folks that have been with Little League Baseball, it's more than just the game. It's about building character, right? And so you can never start that too early.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Liam, so you just kind of graduated out of Naperville Little League, but when you were in Naperville Little League, your team went pretty deep into the playoffs. So you've had some pretty good ones. You've been pretty competitive in the drafted league. But what did you like best? Talk about that experience and what you liked best.
So when I started in T-ball, I only played with a couple of my friends. And then as the years went on, I got better at baseball and learned a lot more from my coaches and learned some more friends.
Okay, and so you ended up in the drafted division, right? That's a little bit of a higher level of competition. How did you like that?
I thought there was more competition.
Yeah.
And I liked, because my friends, they were also in the draft division. So I liked playing against them and with them.
Okay, what position did you play?
Pitcher and outfield.
Oh, you had a pretty pressurized job there on the mound, right?
Yeah.
You have 3 sons.
Yes.
Liam being one. All of your boys have been part of the program. Your youngest is still in the program. Talk about what that's been like. Why do you like it? And both from a parental standpoint as well as your parent manager.
Yes. So as my wife and I moved to the Naperville area, one of the first things that we looked at was ways in which we can get our boys involved in athletics and involved in the community. And Naperville Little League was absolutely a way to easily ingratiate them with that. Got them out of the house, got them moving around a little bit, but with the the mature program that Naperville Little League is, got them fast-paced into the baseball world as well. Got them connected with a lot of different coaches. Got my wife and I as well connected with a great community of adults that we still work with today, friends, family, and co-coaches as well for myself.
Yeah, Liam's making friends and parents are making friends, right?
Absolutely,
It's a little bit of both. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Now, you've also volunteered a lot of time as a parent manager. Talk about the league from that perspective, because that's an important part. Obviously, you can't do Little League Baseball without the volunteers. So say more on that topic.
Yeah, so we obviously, the league wouldn't exist without the volunteers that donate their time, countless hours behind the scenes. The league is a great job of organizing us, keeping us involved, but the hours that are involved with donating to field maintenance, preparation, reviewing the rules, mentoring the kids in the off season when the winter hours we're working in the off season and so forth, through the regular season and everything like that. But also being, mentors to the kids and everything like that. It's a big job. It's not just showing up and putting cones out or anything like that. It's definitely a more involved job than that.
Okay, and what do you feel like you've got back for that?
It's definitely a connection with the community. I feel like our our sons have also seen direct involvement with not only myself, but also their own coaches that they've been involved with as far as mentors that they've been able to look up to, not only baseball-wise, but also just in general in life.
Putting role models right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Liam, give me a favorite memory, something that you really, and it might have been when you were playing T-ball, or it might have been last year when you were playing at a slightly higher level. What's a favorite memory?
So some of my favorite memories were pitching in a big game to help my team, like so that we could win. And another good memories is like during the off season when we were like practicing, getting to know my teammates and that stuff.
Yeah. Do you feel like, because you're going to be heading off to Naperville Central in not too distant future, a lot of your teammates going with you?
Yeah.
You guys going to the same school?
Yeah, I feel like I would know a lot more people because I was in Naperville Little League.
Yeah, that's kind of nice, right? It makes a big school feel a little smaller.
Yeah.
You know, are you going to hopefully play baseball when you get to high school?
Hopefully, I'm going to try out.
Okay, all right. Well, good luck with that. I'm
Yeah.
sure you've had good training, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Ryan, you know, as you look at the Naperville Little League baseball program and, you know, everything from sandlot at the early years to the more drafted, and like you said, you're now all the way through 8th grade, so really helping those kids get towards the high school experience. How do you feel that sort of from your perspective, because you've seen it with your 3 boys, how's that evolution? You know, I mean, some kids are really, like Liam, very competitive. They want that route. Not everybody does. How do you feel that Naperville Little League kind of gives those different options?
The great thing with Naperville Little League, I feel like, is that it has a program for anyone. Boys, girls, 1st grade through 8th grade, even now the involvement of our Sandlot League, which is 4 and 5-year-olds playing wiffle ball.
I could maybe do that. I feel like I could maybe join that, right?
4 and 5-year-olds only.
Oh,
Be
okay.
careful.
All right. Okay.
But it has a program for everyone is the real key. And it really, while it is a baseball program, it really is about developing the kids, developing the community, and baseball happens to be, you know, involved as well. There is a very competitive nature to the program, but there also is the involvement of the kids being involved with their own kid, you know, their friends and the community and everything like that. So the mentorship, like I said, with coaches, there's kids who have come back from Little League after playing in high school and college and so forth, and they still remember their Little League coaches years after. So looking forward to that, and I'm really looking forward to our kids' involvement with that as well.
Yeah, that's a nice way. Are you planning on going back?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's a yeah. Let's go with a yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. If I were, which I'm not, apparently, a 4 or 5-year-old, but say I was, what would you say to me to make me, why should I join the Sandlot?
Well, it's not just about like the competition of playing baseball. It's about like making the friendships and learning new abilities.
Okay, I like that. You've sold me. I'd sign up if your dad said I could, but apparently I can't. Thank you both for coming by. We really appreciate it. We wish all the best to Naperville Little League as they get ready for the spring season. Hopefully the warm weather will be upon us shortly. We'll be able to get outside for that, right?
Yes, absolutely. Praying for it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And if you would like more information about the Naperville Little League Baseball, please go and visit their website.
Today's Spotlight is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor, Busey Bank.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the colleges paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned.
Today's Spotlight is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor, Busey Bank.
So we're here on location today at the DuPage Children's Museum, and I'm here with Kim, so excited. It's such an amazingly colorful space. So we're right now in one of what you call the Little Explorer spaces, correct?
Young Explorers.
Young Explorers, as opposed to little. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the spaces and how you create those.
So we have 3 different Young Explorer spaces that are all meant for children age 2 and under.
Okay.
And each one of the spaces is designed to complement one another so that by the time a child goes through each of the spaces, they have kind of had a chance to practice all of the different development skills that they need at that age, right? Crawling, grabbing, climbing, grasping, as well as all of the different wonderful things for their minds as well.
Okay, now the space that we're currently in, what's this space designed to do?
So this is Creativity Connections, and we really start with art. So it's a lot of light, color, and shadow. So it's a lot of those simple concepts that we begin teaching our children so young. What does red look like? What does yellow look like? But also the opportunity to feel and touch. So we have a beautiful mosaic in the entryway where children can feel, and it's very tactile because that's so much a part of learning what different things feel like, as well as being able to climb a little bit and learn what it means to kind of go up and down a little bit and be on different levels. So it's a lot of those very, very important early developmental stages that children need to go through.
Okay, and I love that because like you said, there's a lot as we look around here, there's a lot of color, you know, the whole idea of tactile and feeling. There's also some great fish. Talk about the fish for a second.
The fish have been with us for a very long time, and we take very good care of them. They are just so fascinating. I mean, live animals are really important for children to be exposed to be able to get up and look and watch and see all of the things that they do. It's been a favorite here.
Okay. Now, you know, you have some things that at the museum, kind of some principles about learning and learning through play, which is obviously something that everybody now realizes is so critical. I think you were very cutting edge when you started and thinking about those concepts. Say a little bit more about that.
So there is so much that I can say, but it really has been narrowed down to about 5 principles that really seem to cover so much of what we do. And really thinking about playful learning being joyful, being very meaningful, and that means individually meaningful, actively engaging so that a child can really be an active participant in the play. Very iterative, which means it's changing, right? We learn as we go. So we think about when children come here, they may play with the same thing, but every time they play with it, they'll play with it slightly differently because they're going to learn how they played with it before. They're going to take everything from their outside environment and bring it with them so that the next time they'll learn something more. And then really being socially interactive and collaborative so that children who desire to interact with other children have that opportunity. There are some children who want to play on their own, and that's perfectly fine. But if it's a great place for children, especially young children who may not have a preschool yet, to really be able to engage and learn those social skills from the other children here.
It's a little bit of that watch and learn, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That's interesting. Now, I'd like to take a look at, because you've got some really interesting, you talked about tactile and you talked about also, you know, kind of learning from stuff. You've got some interesting things over here. Let's go take a look at those.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Kim, I'm pretending to be my best 2-year-old self here. I'm down, and I see these grab bars.
Yes.
So before I grab one, which is my 2-year-old instinct, tell me a little bit about this kind of a setup and what we're trying to do here.
This is one of the easiest examples for me to show you about how everything is so intentionally designed here. So when you think about a child, when they learn to walk, what do? They begin to pull up on things. And so what we had been doing is putting these horizontal pull-up bars over, and we had been working on that design, and we thought, well, we'll put some things there that will attract them, they'll pull up. And then we started talking about what kids really do at home, which is using the kitchen table and the coffee tables. Yep. So we wanted to be able to provide a vertical pull as well, which is what these are. And then we thought, well, maybe we can make it so that there's some cause and effect in there too, because what do parents teach their little ones? They teach them the colors and the numbers. So
if I pull green, see, it goes green. If I pull purple, it goes purple, pink. Yeah. Yellow and orange. That's so fun.
Yeah, so it's a great way of taking something that a child will do naturally and adding in that little extra bit of learning so that the parents and the kids have that wonderful wow moment together.
Yeah.
Because it is, the parents get as excited, if not more than the kids over this. But
Yeah,
and then it creates that great shared moment.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that's it too, right? It's like if I were to come down here myself, I wouldn't necessarily think, I would just think, oh, that's interesting, bars, and if I didn't see any color, but the minute I do it, it sparks a little bit of curiosity, right? And curiosity is such a big part of early childhood development,
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, this is amazing. And then if we kind of move here, the pull up, and we can see it's different spinning wheels, and a lot of things in this space, right, designed to create noise, light, color, yes?
Yes. Yeah, so everything, there's a little, you have to have a little bit of an attractor to get people involved, and then when the children, but you want it to be what they're naturally curious about as well. So we create that balance when we start to design things, and then once it's in and it's installed, then we watch it and see, did it work? Is it doing what we expected it to do? And if it doesn't work, then we redo it. Or we look at how we can, so it's not a done deal. While we know a lot, we don't know everything all the time. We're humble in our own design and making sure that it really works the way that it benefits all of our visitors.
I think that's so interesting because I'm not sure that I would have thought about that. So you're actually, and I know I've been here, with little ones, and there's always a lot of museum staff around. So you're actually observing how the children are interacting with your displays so that you can, it's a constant cycle of improvement.
Right, well, my joke is, it's not like there's a children's museum store we go and buy exhibits from, right? We have to design everything, and as much as you work to make sure you design things well, if you don't watch and observe and make sure that children are actually using them the way that they were intended, you still might get it wrong. Sometimes it's little misses, sometimes it's big misses. We want to make sure we're doing it the right way.
Love that, love that. Well, let's go take a look at another space, okay? Okay, so now we're in the Make It Move area, and I am separated from you. I'm in the little young explorers, 2 and under, and you're not. So talk to me a little bit about why have we got these 2 areas adjacent to each other?
So it was really important to us that families come in with different age children and to allow those families to play near each other. So if you have a child who's capable of playing a little bit on their own, they can play out here.
Okay.
And look, right through here, you
on
can
the
play,
side
right,
with the small children, yes.
They can play together, right? Siblings play together, even when they're different ages. And so you can have this space where the caregivers can go in with their youngest child and play with them and still know that their older child has a very nice, playful experience very nearby, where they can still keep their eye on them.
That's important. It is important.
It is.
Now, you've got this thing that moves. Talk about what we're looking at here.
Yeah, so this is one of our gear walls. And what's great about it is that the older children can take these, all of these loops off and then move them around to control how the gears work. While on the inside, the younger children
what am I doing?
can move all of the beautiful pieces around to put them where they like them to be.
Oh, that's so
and
fun.
So it really
and so they
is
can
about
cooperate
cooperating.
together.
Yes, it's cooperative play.
Oh,
so the
is so
older
fun.
children have to be a little bit patient while the younger child puts them on. And then the same thing, younger children have to be a little bit patient while the older kids make everything work out here. And then they work together with it.
Okay, and then caregiver can kind of keep an eye on everybody, right?
Right.
Okay, now in this younger, because I really think it's so interesting because you're starting with those youngest learners, this area is very colorful. It's got a lot of stairs in it.
It does.
Yeah, so what about stairs?
Yeah, the stairs were really important to us to give children an opportunity to really build that skill set. Risky play is really important for children at all ages. And this is a very, very safe risk. The child is accompanied by an adult, so they can take that chance to walk up the stairs or learn how to crawl up the stairs, figure out how to come down the stairs, and their adult is right there with them.
Okay.
And so it creates this very safe environment to practice a skill that will be very important for them.
Thank you so much for giving us this little tour and really giving us an insight into what the kids can learn through play. We appreciate it.
I'm happy to.
I'd like to thank all of my guests for joining us on Spotlight, and our friends at Busey Bank for their generous sponsorship of today's show. To learn more about the organizations featured on this episode, please visit our website at nctv17.org. And to stay informed about what's happening in our community, sign up to receive our daily news update and like and follow us on social media. For Spotlight, I'm Jane Wernette. Thank you for watching.
Today's Spotlight is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor, Busey Bank.